Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. 6:13 p.m., November 3rd, 2025. This year, All Souls Day, also St. Hubert and St. Martin the Porter's Day. I was actually baptized in his parish down in Florida. If anybody in Port St. Lucie area, that's not here or there. Anyways, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining in. Oh, someone's already commented. Good evening, everybody. Marky Mark and Funky Bunch already there representing Iowa. Welcome, Mark. How you doing, man? He's 1 hour behind me. Anyway, remember daylight savings time came back. We're back in regular scheduled hours. The sun goes down before 6, and it's kind of depressing, but hey, that's the way it's supposed to be. Hopefully they'll end all that nonsense in the not so distant future. But till then, we got some bombing raids to do. Russia closely monitoring Venezuela crisis as U.S. builds up to 16,000 troops off the coast. Russia says it is closely monitoring the situation in Venezuela at the moment of unprecedented buildup of military assets threatening the country, which possesses the world's largest crude oil reserves. Responding to weekend, Washington Compost reports saying the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, has requested military assistance from Moscow, especially missiles and radars. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov simply said, "We are closely monitoring the situation in Venezuela." Great googly moogly. That means they are not. They might get in that. They might get involved. Yes, St. Hubert is it's a cool story. I can't wait to tell it to the kids tonight. We tried to do a story time. Now they request it. Hey, who's on? My oldest goes, "Who's on the menu today?" And because I got the doors closed. Well, you can't see it anyways. The Sophia calendar, we got that. And so they always like looking at it on the other side of my office door. And they'll say, "Who's that? Who's that?" We'll do a story. Who's on the menu today? Anyways, so yes, Russia is looking closely at what Venezuela is doing. Remember, they just got some kind of nuke that creates a radioactive tidal wave. Yeah. Yay. Anyway, if anybody is watching near the Holy Father anytime soon, ask him if you could just accidentally do the consecration of Russia and say Russia in it, just for giggles. You don't even have to video it. Just try it. Do what else? CBS cuts Trump's corruption tantrum from 60 Minutes edit. The moment Trump got testy was missing from Sunday night's interview. I can't show that because they'll nuke the show for showing 60 Minutes. Complain to Barbie Weiss, the CBS socialist kind of lady. She's the socialist everyone kind of likes because, I don't know. They don't like the New York socialists, even though they're all socialists, but they don't like the Muslim socialists because I don't know. Got more on that too later. Barack Hussein Obama, also known as Barack the Closer Obama, rips and mocks Trump and billionaire pals on campaign trail. It's all tricks and no treats. And these are just, they talk to 50, 60 people. They got the camera on them. He makes a couple jokes. Somebody smiling behind them, laughing. It's Teen Party politics. It's show business. It does absolutely nothing for the regular Joe. But it made the news. And he's all over the place for the and they said he's campaigning for her and she just sits there and laughs. It makes no sense. How to understand Mandini, the Muslim at the gay bar. You didn't think you'd read that headline today. Some conservatives have attacked New York City. New York City. Yep. New York City mayor candidate Zoran Mandini as a radical Islamist. He refused to say Hamas should disarm. Who cares? Noted one writer at the Federalist. How about someone ask if Israel's going to stop bombing kids? He won't condemn the extremist phrase, globalize the intifada, whatever. He seeks associations with Brooklyn imams who encourage jihad. I have no clue. I don't live in Brooklyn, don't live in New York City. I could care less who's the mayor there. On the other hand, he has been critiqued by the hard left sexual revolutionary, posting about queer liberation, placing pro-transgender ads, and calling for taxpayer-funded surgeries to make transgender people look like the opposite sex. There's a clash between these critiques. Is Mandini going to impose Sharia law, or is he radically pro-gay and pro-transgender? Many of his supporters have pointed out this contradiction. Uh, they think Mandini's going to force all New Yorkers become Muslims. I it is something. I don't know where his stances are, but it would be something if he outlaws abortion and trans. You're going to see conservatives going, I don't know what to do. Even though I don't know, is there any conservatives in New York City? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, if you look at what they vote for in New York City, there's probably none, or maybe like 4. I mean, they voted for garbage last. If you think the mayor, America's mayor, is a conservative, you got another thing coming. Yeah, he helped the 9/11 things. Come on. New York City needs to break away, create its own area, and those areas need to break away and create their own thing. It's a terrible situation, but it's just going to continue to get worse because no one wants to do anything of real difference. The New York Compost, House Republicans exploring ways to prevent Mandini from being sworn in as New York City mayor if he wins on election day. Barry Weiss, who I talked about a minute ago for CBS, security detail costs CBS $10,000 a day as network undergoes layoffs. So when everyone else is losing their job, she's bringing in $10K just for security, which probably has to go more because she's cutting off more people. A security guard. Trump's Great Gatsby party did not accept SNAP. So I had no clue about what happened with this. I stayed away from the online for a while, for all weekend pretty much. This year marks the 100th anniversary of the publication of F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby, a book that all of us read as children, a book that you were probably required to read in high school, but which makes much more sense when you go back and read it again as an adult. That's especially true if you've been banged around enough by life to understand that the glamorous, elusive, self-invented party boy Jay Gatsby was not, in fact, someone you should aspire to be. Anyway, so they had a great Gatsby theme party at Mar-a-Lago. I guess I was on the 31st. That was on Halloween. Yeah, okay. Party. Trump administration will partially fund November food stamps filing. This was earlier today at 2:40 p.m. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, the USDA, if you're nasty, will fund food stamps for November at reduced levels. Trump administration officials said on November 3rd. USDA will spend billions and billions of dollars in contingency funds, but will not use any additional money, administration lawyers said in a court filing. That means many SNAP recipients will only receive half as much as benefits as they usually do, the lawyer said. The government met its deadline of 2 p.m. noon on Monday to give an update on funding the federal food stamp program known as SNAP for November. 700,000 ineligible SNAP recipients purge after USDA uncovers widespread food stamp fraud. The USDA, Brooke Rollins, joined Fox News on Sunday and addressed American people about the USDA's massive effort to combat fraud in the SNAP program. Rollins said that the Trump administration sent letters to all the governors prohibiting illegal aliens from accessing benefits with a historic request for state data to be audited alongside the Department of Government officially, DOGE. She said only 29 states cooperated, primarily red and some blue states. She said her team in DOGE found some of the most shocking fraud ever, resulting in the purging of 700,000 ineligible recipients since the president's inauguration and arrested 118 individuals. And here is just, some of the posts from around the Twitter feeds. Illegals accused of stealing more than $150,000 in SNAP benefits in Ohio. If I was a person in Ohio, I'd be mad at the Ohio governor. Ohio has reported of losing $17 million in SNAP benefits from fraud since 2023. Brandon's invaders are stealing taxpayer-funded resources from Americans. Benedict, hey, how you doing? You said hi? I say hi. We all say hi. You say hi. We say Mark is our Walmart greeter. He will say hi to everyone that says hi to him. Thank you, Mark. Here's the 21 states that refuse to send their SNAP data to the U.S. California, shocking. Colorado, again, not shocking. Look at the numbers grow for SNAP in California from just under $6 billion in 2019 to $11 billion in 2021. On my first day at USDA, my true love said to me, we told every state to send us their SNAP data so we could make sure illegal immigrants aren't getting benefits meant for American families. 29 stepped up, 21 blue states refused, the 2 sued us for asking. You know what? I kind of dig it. I like anytime a state sues the federal government, I'm totally cool with it. I don't care what it's for. That's just great. Benny Johnson, cheerleader in brown nose, or Benny Johnson. My solutions to the EBT and SNAP abuse scandal are simple and clear. Shut it down. That's it. That's done. And that's all you need to do. You don't need to do anything else. Require everyone to reapply? No, don't. Restrict what can be purchased. Just shut it down. That's it. Yes, the applications will plummet, but there still would be abuse. Shut it down. Let it be local. Let community churches take care of it, like they should do, and everyone. That's it. You don't have to. It's not the federal government has no authority to do it. Why are 42 million Americans relying on SNAP benefits? Because it's easy to get on the government teat, and it's kind of like a drug. Yes. Mark, you can't say it long, say it brown, say it on top of it, shout it on top of the rooftops, my man. Turn everything into the states. Yes. Say it again. Translate that, make it a rapper, put it on a pigeon, sing it from the top of the hills. That's all. That's the answer to literally every problem we have. Get it back to the states. What was going on? Where was I going back? Over here. There had been a few temporary food stamp programs from the Great Depression through the 1950s, but they were limited in scale and funding was minimal. It wasn't until LBJ's Great Society Project in 1964 that government became your daddy, that food stamps slowly became a permanent mainstay in American life. By 1969, food benefits were in full swing, yet only 1.4% of the population used them. Anyway, you can look on there. All this is in the show notes. Here's this mother has 7 kids, 7 different baby daddies, and she receives $3,000 a month in EBT, otherwise known as SNAP. And again, LGBT helped get rid of really screw up the black family in general, specifically. And if you read people, I can't remember the guy's name. If you read E. Michael Jones, he talks about that in Libido Dominandi, and especially in Destruction of the Cities. There was a communist in was it the Bronx or Brooklyn? I think it was the Bronx. And anyway, the guy ended up making a conversion, dropped communism, became a Catholic, and like the NWCP group excommunicated him because he was going around. He figured out the light shine, had epiphany. He goes, they are lying to us and they are using us. Shocker. And you go through all this. This woman gets $3,000 a month for SNAP EBT for a family of 8. She wants to know if that makes you mad that that the government is helping feed her children, and she could use a few pounds shed right there. She brags about getting $4,000 in SNAP EBT money for the month of November because she knows how to work the system into my favor. I'm sure that has some cussing. I won't play it. If you want to look at it, check it out in the show notes. U.S. citizen shot from behind as he warned ICE agents about children gathering at the bus stop, lawyers said. Leaving his home in Ontario to work at a food bank Thursday morning, Carlos Jimenez pulled over to warn a group of federal agents that they should wrap up their stop of a car quickly because school-aged children would soon gather there to take the bus, his lawyer said on Sunday. In the following moments, the attorney said the ICE officer shot Jimenez, a U.S. citizen and father of 3, from behind. Jimenez, 25, was charged in federal court on assault of a federal officer. A judge released him on bond on Friday. What? How did he get charged? Tricia I guess if I read the paragraph beforehand, a spokesperson for Homeland Security said at the time Jimenez had attempted to run officers over by reversing directly at them without stopping, and the shots were defensive. It's their word versus his, so I mean, it's the government. Maybe they have video of that. Sabotage. Portland ICE building plunging into darkness after suspicious power blockage. Now power at Nick cheerleader, brown noser, sorter. The power at ICE Portland and surrounding buildings have been cut, and the cause is not made public. You know, if I was the mayor of Portland, I would have cut the power. Sorry. Reverend shot by ICE shares chilling warning after being left with dent in his head. Reverend David Black says he was praying outside the ICE facility in Broadview, Chicago, when he was shot in the head and body of pepper bullets fired. Was shot in the head and body by pepper bullets fired by ICE agents on the roof. The roof is on fire. Mr. Black of the First Presbyterian Church of Chicago. We found a cleric suit for the first time in his life. Look how clean and neat that is. They always do that. It was like back in Spartanburg at my boyhood parish. Deacon Bob one time, he's been around for years, but since I was in grade school, they had a photo of him being led by a Lutheran priestess lady. And it was funny because Deacon Bob was in a cassock. And I remember a friend of mine going, I didn't know he even owned one. He was always shown in like a purple shirt, collared shirt thing, purple or white or something. Never seen the guy in a cassock in my life. But for that day, they did Stations of the Cross and had some Lutheran priestess lead it. And for the photo op, he was in a cassock. We were all just like shaking our heads like that. We got mothballs. That'd be brand new. Here's Ryan Christian of the Last American Vagabond talking confirmed in team sport politics would simply translate this to, quote, this is what the team says was confirmed, and I blindly repeated that. This appears to yet be another FBI setup I will discuss today. So he's going to be doing a show. Oh, right now. He's doing it right here. Yeah, the War Focus Peace President, Gaza, AI drones. So he's on right now, someone more intelligent than I. Wall Street Apes talking about the FBI raided multiple homes in Dearborn, Michigan, who plotted a coordinated violent attack on Halloween weekend. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. In comedy section, Maduro says, how can I be a dictator if I'm not trained in American schools? He goes off for a little bit. This is great. How can I if I'm not trained in the School of Americas at Harvard? I was not trained in Langley, West Point, the School of the Americas, or Harvard. I was trained in the high schools of Caracas. I got to get through. That was kind of funny. And it's important to note that drug trafficking is not a crime punishable by death in these United States. Killing people as if they are wartime combatants instead of arresting them is illegal under international law and pretty much any law in the history of mankind. There has been no declaration of war by Congress. From the Corrections Department, okay, maybe since not in mankind. I'm sure people killed other people in the Aborigines and the natives over just looking the wrong way at somebody or your mama joke. AI drones used in Gaza are now surveilling American cities. Whee! Immediately after, we already don't have to worry about that part. AI-powered quadcopter drones used by the IDF to commit genocide in Gaza are flying over American cities, surveilling protesters and automatically uploading millions and millions of images to the evidence database. The drones are made by a company called Skydio, which in the last few years have gone from relatively obscurity to quietly becoming a multi-billion-dollar company and the largest drone manufacturer in these United States. They have contracts with more than 800 law enforcement and security agencies across the amber ways of fuel, up from 320 in March of last year. Skydio has extensive links with Israel. In the first weeks of the genocide, and California-based company sent more than 100 drones to the IDF with promises of more to come. According to my research, almost every large American city has signed a contract with Skydio in the last 18 months, including Boston, Chicago, Philadelphia, San Diego, Cleveland, and Jacksonville, Florida. They were recently used by police departments to gather information at the No Kings protest, and were also used by Yale to spy on an anti-genocide protest camp set up by students at the university last month. In Miami, Skydio drones are being used to spy on spring breakers, and in Atlanta, the company is partnered with the Atlanta Police Foundation to install a permanent drone station within a massive new Atlanta Public Safety Training Center. Detroit recently spent nearly $300,000 on 14 of these drones, according to a city procurement report. These are all links, by the way. Last month, ICE bought an X-10D Skydio drone, which automatically tracks and pursues a target. Yay! U.S. Customs Border bought 33 of the same drones since July. Don't worry, they could target you later. Oh, dude, I thought you were in Iowa. Where are you from? Mark, I could have sworn you said you were from Iowa. Maybe you said you were in Iowa, and I assumed you were an Iowan. Sorry. Mea culpa, maxima culpa, wherever you call yourself home. Trump administration is planning new mission in Mexico against cartels, current and former U.S. officials say. The new operation will be unconstitutional and would include U.S. troops on the ground in Mexico, striking drug labs and cartel leaders. There will not be a vote in Congress, according to current and former U.S. officials, though a deployment is not imminent. So you're saying there's a chance. The U.S. is preparing to test launch a Minuteman III ICBM from Vandenberg Space Force Base this week, says Newsweek. The missile will fly to the Reagan test site on something atoll on the Marshall Islands, America's first ICBM test launch since Trump's call to restart nuclear tests. So if you're taking a boat out to the Marshall Islands, don't. All right, Mark. I'm sorry, I didn't know what you are in Iowa. You were talking about Iowa. See, I'm an idiot. Just don't listen to me anymore. Okay. Yes, Iowa's laws against police drones good, and that's good on Iowa. Lindsey Graham, a terrible human being from South Carolina. We apologize for me being a citizen in South Carolina for years and years and years, decades, for him being still in D.C. I can't vote the guy out because I never lived in his area. Tells Republican Jewish coalition not to worry about Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes. I feel good about Republican Party. I feel good about what we're doing as a nation. We're killing all the right people, and we're cutting your taxes. Okay. Trump is my favorite president. We've run out of bombs. We didn't run out of bombs until World War II. U.S. Marines stage massive landing drill in the Caribbean. Huge landing craft, mortars, and machine guns light up the shoreline. Exercise comes as tensions with Venezuela escalate. And here's Russia strongly condemns U.S. military provocations in the Caribbean. Forest Ministry spokesman Zakharova said, under pretext of combating drug trafficking, quote, quote, the root of the drug problem is in the U.S. The root of the drug problem in the U.S. is in the U.S. itself. Can't argue that. Here's the Onion post. Trump writes Netanyahu strongly worded check. Israeli military accused of Palestinian organ theft again. You don't know what I'm talking about. They used to go around just harvesting organs. They're still doing it. Let's check out what Andy wore real quick. Hedseg won't say if U.S. plans to bomb Venezuela. Israeli drone kills Palestinian in Gaza City. Trump threatens military intervention in Nigeria. Israeli missile strikes kill 4 in South Lebanon. Israeli settlers film torturing lambs in West Bank. Energy Secretary, no nuclear explosions for now. Israel bombed the historic St. George's Church in Lebanon. Church was built in 1867, 80 years before the establishment of Israel. Netanyahu says leak of video showing IDF soldiers raping Palestinian prisoner was the most serious public relations attack on Israel. They're going to need a lot of $7,000 posts to try to recover from that. Trump threat of military action in Nigeria prompts confusion and alarm. Nigerian described a mixture of confusion and fear on Sunday as people across the country tried to decipher once a future king President DJT's threat to stop all aid to Africa's most populous country and go guns a-blazing after accusing Nigeria's government of allowing the killing of Christians. Nigerian president responds to Trump's call for military action against Christian persecution. Respond to a warning. We welcome U.S. assistance as long as it recognizes our territorial integrity. Would be nice if they would just not kill us. I'm going to stretch it. SNAP recipients face shrinking funds and hard choices. At one grocery store in Massachusetts, shoppers grappled with growing fears and lighter carts. Yeah. I feel your pain, and I'm not on SNAP. U.S. Congresswoman suggests fallen angels could be responsible for UFOs. That's MTG. MAGA turns on Kash Patel after he slams supposed aliens after using FBI jet to watch girlfriend at wrestling show. Because he had to make sure his Israeli 27-year-old Israeli girlfriend wasn't cheating on him. Democrats brace for Nancy Pelosi's possible retirement. And I guess that could be good news section of the program. Here's Ben Shapiro. No to the grapers. No to cowards like Tucker. No to those who champion them. No to demoralization. No to bigotry and meritocratic blank. No to anti-Americanism, and just say no. And anybody could just say no to Ben. Not a lot of people do, but largest trucking capacity purge in history is coming. Yeah, they're coming with it. I mean, they're making a lot of trucks that are AI too, so they're going to eliminate a lot of trucker jobs. And in France's wireless highway delivers twice the power for heavy vehicles. Again, EV trucks. New York City. Yes, New York City early voting ends with 735,000 ballots cast as younger voters surge. Again, this is kind of retarded because the election day is supposed to be one day. That's supposed to be like a 3-week, rally beforehand. Mandini takes in a Knicks game from the rafters after Cuomo sat courtside. So it's all about the look. By catching a Knicks game on Sunday, Mandini honored the political tradition of attending a sporting event on the campaign trail, but he sat in the euchre seats. He sat in the cheap-ish seats. Man, it's probably not cheap to get into the game at Madison Square Garden, but if you're going to sit courtside, yeah, you're the elite. And he's sitting there with Mayor Adams. Again, I don't know. I don't think this Mandini's a great guy, a great person. I don't know. He's not a Zionist, so that's a plus. But I mean, if you want to be a part of the people, be a man of the people, you can't be courtside. Democrats race to boost Cheryl in tight New Jersey governor's race. So a lot of these races it's tomorrow. You're going to see what happens tomorrow and see who's going to rend their garments. The dangers of driving after too much coffee. Many tired motorists have turned to a caffeine fix for a pick-me-up, but consuming too much can put themselves and others at risk. That's actually true. And actually, after working out, it can be the same thing because your muscles are fatigued. Your response is it's kind of like DUI, or not DUI, but driving with alcohol. It lapsed in a sense. So there's an argument can be made for a coffee cap for working out and all kinds of things. It's just the alcohol guys have a prohibition group with them. A bite of dark chocolate could sharpen your memory for the next hour and then tank afterwards. Woman ordered medicine by mail and got a box of human fingers instead. Hey, welcome. What's in the box? Remember Southern? Long-term use of melatonin supplements linked to higher risk of heart failure and death. That's why I make a sleep tincture. It's all natural, has no problems with it. Just slows everything down a little bit, slows your brain. So if you overthink, you go to bed and you're like, I can't turn my brain off at night. The sleep tincture will take care of it. Dr. Nicole did it, and I just got her ingredients and make my own. Melatonin is a natural thing. The $830 million Obama Presidential Center is nearly complete. It looks awful. It looks the Obama list in Chicago, often compared to the Death Star and Sharon's Tower. Is set to open next year. And in sports, congratulations to the LA Dodgers. It was a tremendous series. If anybody watched it or not, it was a great series. Game 7 was fantastic, especially the last couple innings. Yeah, you couldn't ask for a better ball. I'm shocked that Toronto didn't win it, but yeah, it was a great. If you like baseball, it was a great series. This was just funny. I thought there's a guy goes, dunks it, misses, and then pretends he hurt himself. Now watch the fans. That's just the fans there. No, that wasn't the watch. Watch this guy in the middle here. Right over here on the top. They're on the ground. They tear him a new one. Anyway, I thought that was funny to share. This day in history, November 3rd, 1957, Laika launched into space, was the first dog, or it became the first living creature to launch into space. 2024, Quincy Jones died at 91. 2016, the Chicago Cubs defeated the Cleveland Indians in the World Series, the first World Series title in 108 years. 2014, One World Trade Center opened in New York City. Yep, New York City. 1998, Chinese government announced the discovery of an unknown segment of the Great Wall of China. 1998, Bob Kane, who created Batman and Robin, died in L.A. 1992, Democratic politician Karen Braun became the first African-American woman elected to the U.S. Senate. 1978, Dominica achieved full independence. I can't wait to see South Carolina achieve full independence. North Carolina achieve full independence. Utah achieved full independence. Midnight Train to Georgia by Gladys Knight and the Pips topped the Billboard Hot 100 chart. Say coming back around. The film Wizard of Oz aired on TV for the first time. 45 million people watched it. Anna Wintour was born in London, England. She became a longtime editor of Vogue. Strike the pose. Vogue. 1916, Eugene O'Neill made his New York City debut in one act Bound East for Cardiff. 1912, Bulgarian siege of Adrianople began, the major event of the First Balkan War. 1903, influenced by Philippe Jean Benu Valera and U.S. interests, the revolutionary junta proclaimed Panamanian independence from Colombia. That is something on top of that. They don't say this, but Teddy Roosevelt helped do that. And they ended up paying Colombia millions of dollars decades later as a sorry thing. Teddy hated Jefferson Davis for seceding, but then he comes out and stages his coup to force a secession from Panama, from Colombia. Got his own people in the Panamanian government. Notice the U.S. interest part. They're not saying why, but that was Teddy Roosevelt doing that. He made Panama, forced Colombia, did a vote for Panama secession, and paid, and then ended up forcing the Colombian hand on that. Because Panama was part of Colombia. That was all Roosevelt, who hated the South seceded, but it was okay when we do it. You're not going to read about that in the local news. Walker Evans was born in St. Louis, Missouri. Olympe de Gauche, whatever, was executed for political views during the French Revolution. 1793, Stephen Austin, the founder of the principal settlements of English-speaking people in Texas in the 1820s, when that territory was still part of Mexico, was born in Virginia. Always Virginians. 1295, Mahmud Ghazan, the most prominent of the Mongol dynasty, was formally enthroned. Sorry, I'm trying to rush through that. I hear dinner is going on outside, so I'm trying to get that going. Anyway, like, subscribe, tweet, like, subscribe, comment below. Have a great night. See you tomorrow for Blackpill. No, today is Blackpill Monday. My apologies. Told you so. Tuesday's tomorrow. Have a great day. Have a great night. Talk to you later.